Peace and greetings, everyone. This is Jahi Far, and I'm creating this video to clarify some misinformation in regards to the health of the human body and its need for animal protein. I have to start out at the onset of this video and clarify that the body does not need animal protein in order to be healthy or to build muscle or to build any tissue. It needs amino acids, okay? And I'm going to justify my stance for that saying by giving two basic explanations. One will be just diving a little bit into chemistry, and the second will be a real-world example relating to amino acids versus proteins. Okay, so just to jump into the chemistry part of it really fast. The body looks at things to make other things at a molecular level, okay, So when the body receives different nutrients, it's going to structure it in terms, or compartmentalize it in terms of whether or not it's a monomer or a polymer. Okay, so once it gets it there, and this is in terms of protein, other nutrients will be compartmentalized in another way. But in terms of proteins and amino acids, the body's going to look at it and say, okay, is this a monomer or a polymer? Okay, so let's explain what they are. The monomer is simply a simplified, unjoined molecule. Okay, and some examples of a monomer are plants, beans, grains, things of that nature. On the other hand, polymers, meaning many mers or many molecules, are complex, joined together molecules. And once the body has compartmentalized either into a monomer, or a polymer, it has to determine what to do with it next. Okay, so if it's a monomer, which is one molecule, it can now just take that molecule and then join it together with other molecules to create protein. And that protein will then turn out to be either my fingernails or my skin or my eyes or my hair, etc., etc. However, when the body receives polymers, many molecules, it has to break that polymer down, which is a protein, which we consider protein. It has to break it down before it can actually strip out the amino acids or the one molecule or one amino acid to make other needed organic proteins in the body, again, which is nails, hair, skin, etc. But it has to break the polymer down, and in breaking it down, it creates a waste product known as ammonia. And ammonia, as we all know, is very detrimental. I mean, if we pour it on something, it's going to burn it up and make things very acidic. That's the same thing that happens in the body when you're consuming too many polymers or proteins, as we call them. So that's on a basic chemistry level of how the body handles amino acids, which are monomers, or polymers, which are considered protein. And that's the basic chemistry. So to give a real world explanation of that, to try to clarify that a little more, I'll use the example of a brick and repairing a brick of my home. So if my home has a damaged brick on the front porch, I'm not going to go out and purchase another abandoned house just to take the brick from that abandoned house. And I'm not going to do that for a couple of reasons. The first reason is there's going to be a lot of paperwork and a lot of litigation, so thus a lot of time lost in just purchasing that house. But also, once I purchase the house, if I did purchase the abandoned house, I would have to break the house down in order to get the brick out of there. And then breaking the house down is going to create a lot of waste and pollutants in the air. And especially if the house has lead and any of other chemicals in there, that's going to be released into the air, thus affecting the air. So not only did I waste time, but I also created pollutants in the air by just breaking this house down to take out one brick to repair the house that I'm living in. Okay, so I would rather, to repair that brick, I would just go purchase another brick or a couple bricks to repair that broken brick, and maybe save the other bricks just in case something else happened in the house and I had to do some other repairs. And that's synonymous to how the body works with proteins and amino acids. The body doesn't need a whole house to repair itself. The body just needs one brick, and that one brick is just that amino acid. It doesn't need the full house or protein. Okay, I hope that's clear. I hope that's clear, because again, going back to the ammonia and all of the waste that's created when breaking down a protein, it's not worth it. I mean, all of the degenerative diseases that are occurring can be related back to having the digestive system and having to break down a lot of this excess protein that's coming into the body. So that's very important. And then the effects of the liver are just very detrimental. The liver has to deal with creating a lot of the proteins needed for the body. It also manufactures most of the protein, or the non-essential proteins, as people call them, within the liver. So the liver really takes a beating when it has to constantly break down animal protein within the body, or any full protein, again, especially when it only needs amino acids to perform its job. So that's very important. I think that's very important in terms of health, in terms of if you're a bodybuilder or if you're a person that exercise, you don't have to consume a bunch of red meat and pork in order to be buff and be strong and run as fast as possible. I think that's very important. So jumping into the next aspect of this, where did all of this misinformation come from, and why is it still so prevalent today? You know, even with research that proves that we don't need as much protein from amino acids in order to be healthy. Okay, around I believe it was like 50 or 60 years ago, it was some research done, and scientists found that rats flourish in an environment, in their own environment, when raised on a predominantly protein and animal based diet. Rats now. And the scientists took that information and applied that to human health as well. And they said, so if it's good enough for rats, then of course it has to be good enough for humans. So if rats' cognitive ability improved and they were able to heal different tissues and stuff and things like that from being on a protein-rich and predominantly animal-based diet, then of course that would be good for humans as well. So that information was taken, and research journals were written based off of that. And even to this day, protein is still the predominant nutrient in most people's diets because of that information. And then, of course, a lot of other marketing was done to instill it in people's minds. But there was also some other research done around the same time, and it was done on gorillas. And the gorillas were, the research done on them was that they were grown in their natural habitat, and they were seen to consume 100%, and in most cases 100% in most cases, but in some cases just 90% of just pure vegetables, fruits, and twigs. And they were proven to be as healthy as possible in their natural environment. I mean, of course, gorillas are stronger than the most strongest bodybuilder, human bodybuilder. And they can pretty much smack a person and probably knock a person's head off for real. I mean, that's how strong they are. So a lot of, you can't say that muscle isn't being manufactured within these animals, because it's there. I mean, you can't dismiss what you see in nature because it's fact. And then I also have to note that these animals were seen as very peaceful when they were in that environment and fed that or eating that 100% natural vegetarian diet. Again, consisting of vegetables, but also fruits and twigs. I mean, that's something very important to note. Another thing that's important to note that human beings are more closely biologically and physically um, related to gorillas than rats. So I think that's very important because we're more tied to gorillas than we are to rats. But a lot of people follow the research done off of the rats than they would off of the gorillas. That's something to think about right there. Okay, so moving right along. Now that we know our bodies essentially do not need protein from animal sources to be healthy. I mean, now that we know that, what are some sources that we can use to um, get the essential amino acids into our bodies? Okay, I think that will be the next question that comes up. Okay, now that I know I don't need the protein from animal sources, you're saying that I do need amino acids. Where do I get those from? Again, going back to nature, following the gorilla, vegetables, eating different types of vegetables, especially spinach, kale greens, collard greens, asparagus, lima beans, all kidney beans, all of the grains, such as the quinoa, the buckwheat, the rye, the whole grain rice. Mushrooms are great. Mushrooms contain a lot of amino acids. The nuts, of course, we have the almonds, we have the cashews, we have the seeds, we have the peanuts. Contains a lot of amino acids that will help in assisting the body to heal from a lot of different diseases and things of that nature. Okay, and I also have to state in terms of just me myself, I haven't eaten animal products since my first daughter, Giselle, was born. She's 7 years old now, and I haven't eaten meat consciously more than 10 times in 7 years. Okay, 10 times in 7 years. And within that time, I've done a lot of training, a lot of martial arts training. I can do more than 60 push-ups a clip. I can do more pull-ups now. I can run faster now. You know, so in terms of you not needing protein in order to exercise or in order to be a trainer or things of that nature or to be healthy, I'm living proof that you can. So I hope that this information has been beneficial. I hope that people stop using protein or eating meat or their willingness to eat meat as an excuse that, okay, I'm eating meat because I needed to be healthy or I needed to lift weights or something like that, because again, it's not factual. It's not factual. The body does not need protein. The body needs amino acids to be healthy. So thank you for your time. Again, all comments, questions are welcome. Have a great day. Peace.